Scott Reviews here. That's Mr. Reviews to you. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we always often talk about and compliment with movies. But you know what? Sometimes it's almost just as fun to listen to it separately. And I'm talking about movie soundtracks on vinyl. Ooh, good. Don't break them. Don't break them. So I got a pile here. Hopefully you can't see them. And we're going to talk about them. My initial pitch for this video was going to be about Black Friday. And then I realized that all the Black Friday sales were from last year. And so unless if you wanted to get a cheap Element television for $200, you know, or some cheap Blu-rays that we saw last year, I don't know. Let's do something different. These first couple of ones are actually quite inexpensive. You could probably find them at thrift stores, but I certainly appreciate them. They've almost certainly have made me think about the movies as I'm listening to them, and I think that's part of the fun about getting soundtracks for movies. First one though, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, it is an understatement to talk about this movie and say that the soundtrack is one of the best elements in this film. And now this one actually has a gatefold and has some pictures from the movie, some publicity. I'm sure that people who watch my channel have already seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, so I don't think I really have to go much into it. But I think if you really like this film, this is a great addition to your vinyl collection, even if you don't have a vinyl. It's actually kind of fun to look at the jacket and the gatefold. It's a beautiful release. All right. Next one, this is a must-have for anyone who has a vinyl record collection, any of that sort. They printed probably 1 billion of these, and it is most deserved in anyone's collection, and that is John Williams' Star Wars soundtrack. This is for the first one, A New Hope, or the fourth one. Wasn't the fourth one until 81. Here you go, you get some pictures from the film. But yeah, I love gatefolds. And it has a little liner note. Talks about the film. It's not as detailed as the expanded soundtrack that they did in 1997 for the special editions, but there is plenty to be had with this set and all around. And also you got this beautiful image of Darth Vader. I've only seen this on the vinyl, but I think with vinyl, one of those things is when you hold it, you go, wow. It's like it's, you know, so impactful. It has like a big stamp. It says, hey, this is serious, or something like that. I don't know. So this next one, we're going to get into some more modern releases for older classic films. I love Mondo and Death Waltz Records and a lot of those Waxwork Records. They put together some really elaborate releases for their movies. And I'm going to pull out the most elaborate one that I have, and that is John Carpenter's The Thing. This is the limited edition. This is the one that has the slip cover in the front, and it pulls out like so. This is like way too much. But yeah, kind of reminds me of a scene in the movie. You know what I'm talking about. And you have the vinyl soundtrack and the gatefolds, new art. It just, I love these kinds of releases. So Ennio Morricone did the soundtrack to John Carpenter's The Thing, and when you think about this movie, you tend to think of the heartbeat during the very opening bits of the film. You think about some of the more subdued aspects of it. Well, it's interesting because when you listen to this soundtrack, you're greeted by some tracks that are very unfamiliar, particularly for the film. And that's because a lot of Morricone's soundtrack is preserved onto the soundtrack and was not as used in the film. So the soundtrack actually is more Morricone's work than so much maybe some of John Carpenter's tracks that filled up in the film too. But you still do get some of that goodness that you're familiar with from some of Carpenter's other movies. But Morricone is a wonderful composer, and it has some very interesting tracks, and you could see where his instincts were for the film, and just kind of an alternative view on the film. So I do enjoy this one, but I think the most part, anyone who picks this up will probably be a little bit more surprised with it. Waxwork did release one that has more of the movie cues in it, more of Carpenter's stuff. So yes, very good release. Do check that one out. I dig it. So elaborate. Next one, I'm gonna pull out some more Waxwork Records releases. They did do some incredible stuff, particularly with Friday the 13th. I'm going to drop that because my channel started with Friday the 13th, and I'm just going to continue dropping it. So, which I don't have, unfortunately. Shucks. But, I'm going to talk about the greatest zombie trilogy ever made. And it started with Night of the Living Dead. Now, the thing that's funny about this soundtrack is that this movie's public domain. It's filled with a bunch of library cues from other movies, from other stuff, and it's all put together with all the tracks that were used for the film itself. So I think that's why it's special, but yes, I paid for something that essentially I could probably just find myself, and yeah. But it's on vinyl, so yeah, this is a beautiful release. I love it. I think there is another vinyl release of this, but this is just gorgeous. I love this set. And sometimes Waxwork does come with like colored vinyl. I don't even remember what mine looks like. Let's find out. Okay. So it's kind of like a green. It's ghoul color. It's a fun one to play on Halloween. Scare some of your friends. Play it while everyone's trick-or-treating. Maybe next year. Some of the older vinyls, they tend to be in very thin cardboard cases. These ones, they're really thick. They're really heavy. And they are beautiful. But I'm going to start with the first of the trilogy. But you know what? I'm just going to throw in the entire trilogy. Let's do it. Dawn of the Dead. Really the reason why I ended up doing this video was I'm really just waiting until I get the 4K in the mail, and then we're going to do a review on it. Hopefully next week. But actually, the 4K limited edition set comes with this on CD as well too. This includes a lot of the Goblin tracks, and it's kind of funny because I didn't realize that Dawn of the Dead had a alternative European edit. I know there was the director's cut, which is actually more of the extended cans cut of the film. It's not necessarily the director's cut. It's not George Romero's preferred release. And a lot of the Argento tracks are on the soundtrack, and it is awesome because I love Goblin. I love their Suspiria, Deep Red. They just do an amazing job, and it's so memorable. The moment that you start hearing Dawn of the Dead, you start recognizing where it came from. But yeah, so this is the set. Has some of the zombies on it. Yeah, it's a impressive set. Okay, let's see. What color vinyl do I have? I don't even know. Ooh. It's a blue, just like the makeup. Although Tom Savini said in the past that it was supposed to be kind of like a grayish, pale color, and ended up being like bright blue in the film. We're gonna see what the 4K transfer looks. Maybe they might make it a little bit more natural. But I love this movie so much, and I think it's my favorite of the Romero movies. It depends. It's either between, well, I feel like I trade off between all of them. It's either I'll jump one day to Night of the Living Dead, I'll jump another day to Dawn of the Dead, and then the next day, I'm sorry, but Day of the Dead has really warmed up to me. This is a great soundtrack from John Harrison, who did the score to it. The thing that's interesting is all the previous Night of the Living Dead movies dealt with library cues, or at least with Dawn of the Dead, a portion of it was library cues. And this one is completely full, actually composed score for the movie, and the entire movie is John Harrison's stuff. And this soundtrack really just complements the bleakness. Ooh, we actually get pictures. These are actual pictures. And yeah, has like some liner notes. Oh yeah, from George Romero. Liner notes from 2013 from George Romero. Yeah. I really like this movie, and I think it was unfairly criticized when it came out because all the Night of the Living Dead movies are kind of different. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. And actually, some of them have different colors, even though there's like a 2 LP set. Sometimes both of the colors are different, but yep, blood. Classic. There's been several pressings of, at least of Day of the Dead. I know that for sure. And Night of the Living Dead, not sure. They might be out of print. Sometimes Waxwork reprints their vinyl, so always keep tabs on that. Now, okay, for my absolute favorite, it's really because it's my absolute favorite movie of all time. And it is an absolute classic. Even my 2-year-old daughter wants me to play this over and over again, and that is Jaws. I know Mondo came out with their own set, and that is wonderful, but I'm sorry, but the woman and the shark, like this image right here is, like, I can't imagine any other cover for Jaws. It's so bad that Universal tried to come up with their own spin on this, and every single time we'll keep coming back to this artwork. This is what Jaws is, just as much as John Williams' score is. And it's pretty plain, but you have the liner notes. It doesn't have nearly as much soundtrack as the expanded release that came out, I think maybe in the late 90s or early 2000s. Favorite one. Well, that's it. What are your favorite soundtracks that you guys have on vinyl? Leave those down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys on the next one, and hopefully I'll get Dawn of the Dead in next week so I can do a review next Friday. Take care, and I will talk to you guys later.